ต่อไปนี้เราก็จะได้ฟังคำให้หัวหวานแก่นักข่าวของอเมริกันคือมันจะได้มามีซ่องทานผู้ทำอิฐข้าพเจ้าจะข้อเชิญมาอันนี้เกี่ยวกับเวียกซึ่งเป็นไปที่ขับเชิญมาในบุญมหาปฏิบัติในวันนี้จะได้มากล่าวความสนับสนุนท่านนั้นคือนางเชอรี่น็อกดังนั้นข้อเชิญนางเชอรี่น็อกขึ้นมากล่าวความปราศัยจะให้บรรดาพ่อแม่พี่น้องทุกท่านได้ฟังได้ชมMrs. Sherina ต้องมีเป็นเกียรตินี่เกี่ยวกับเรื่องไซโน
Hello, my name is Sherry Warnock, and I work for Media One in Visalia, and I do a TV show called South Valley Journal, and I know a lot of you people from doing this for many years. I see a lot of familiar faces out there, and it's great to be part of this again this year. Thank you, General Lee and Shantam, for giving me the opportunity to again be at this event. It's a great opportunity to stand before you and speak to you about the history of Laos and its struggle for freedom. I think it's wonderful to see some of the same faces again and again. And of course it's great to meet new people and see the forces getting much larger and stronger every year. I remember the first time that I met General Kongle and Shantam. It was at a video production company that I was working at, and it was in 1993. And General Kongle and Shantam came to this production company to explore ways of spreading the message about the struggles of Laos and the Lao neutral nation formation in the fight for freedom. That was 5 years ago, and through those 5 years, I've been privileged to have the opportunity to partake in your yearly celebration and also document the events on videotape. Through those years, I've seen the Lao neutral nation grow and become stronger and stronger. I've seen the Lao people arrive in America. I've seen them come to a new country, to a new home. I've seen the struggles that you've gone through with cultural barriers and language barriers. I've seen the racial prejudice that you've had to go through. And I've seen you face the American people who didn't quite understand why you were here, so you had a lot of difficulties there. I think that the American people have come a long way since then, and I think that a lot of them are more educated now, and they're more educated to the history of Laos. Now I'm going to go back and talk a little bit about the history. I know most of you already know about the history, but there may be a few of you out there that don't, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. You've had a really hard time here, and you really seem to have pulled through really, really well. It's been a long, hard road for the Lao people, but it never seems to amaze me how you never get discouraged, how you never get discouraged at some of the things that have happened. When most people would develop bitterness and anger, the Lao people seem to try to do the best they can and make life better. They are positive, good-natured, and very optimistic. I look out at all your happy, smiling faces out there, and it makes me feel good to know that I'm your friend. You're all very good, loyal, honest, and hardworking people. I admire your strength, and I admire your courage, because I don't know if I could be so strong. You were ripped from your country without choice. If you stayed, you would have died. I know most of you already know the history of Laos, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. The country of Laos has never seen independence. In the 1700s, Laos was a British colony. In 1958, the Prime Minister gave Laos its independence, but it never became a free country. The people were pulled between two parties who wanted to control Laos, the left hand and the right wing. The struggle for control can much be compared to America's Civil War between the North and the South. In both cases, it was an unnecessary bloodbath. In Laos, the fighting was fierce. General Kongle grew up amongst the conflict. As he grew of age, he was thrust into battle. He was thrust into battle and quickly advanced to be the captain in the army. The General Kongle was and still is a true leader to his men. He taught them survival, and he gained their trust. As the war raged, the general saw so many good men fall in battle. He would often think, why? What are we fighting about? Why can't the fighting stop? And why can't everyone live together as one neutral government and one neutral nation? In the summer of 1960, General Kongle made international headlines by seizing the Laotian capital with only 800 troops. At that point, he declared Laos a politically neutral government. When America caught wind of what the General Kongle had done, a profile was written about him in the New York Times, and you probably could see those pictures up on the wall. They said he was a revolutionary hero. After that, the general was known by the American forces in Vietnam as their only way of effectively battling communism. The Pentagon invited him on a month-long visit and had him review the troops at Fort Myer. Conley vowed to make Laos a little Switzerland, neutral, united, and peaceful. Time magazine depicted Kongle as a hero of mythic proportions, a guerrilla fighter who slept in the jungle with his men, shielded from bullets by the magical Buddhist Sokan wristlets, and a powerful guardian spirit called a Pai. Some say he is a reincarnation of a legendary Lao king who vanished into the jungle 4 centuries ago. As time went on, other countries saw the division in Laos. They saw this as a perfect opportunity to play on Laos's weaknesses and take over control of the country. Thailand gave financial support to the right-wing forces, and Communist Vietnam gave support to the left-hand forces. Things got out of control, and other countries also got involved, and this turned into the Vietnam War. In 1962, 14 countries, including the United States, Russia, and China, signed the Geneva Peace Treaty to end the war and make Laos a neutral country. Although the intentions were good, the fighting didn't stop. Troops kept waging their war, and General Kongle kept struggling against increased forces. It was an up and down battle for years until 1975. Shortly after the fall of Saigon, the communists took over Laos. Conley was forced to exile into France. Even though the general was forced out of the country, he never gave up his dream of a neutral Laos. In In 1988, Conley ventured to China to train freedom fighters, and he's now in America to gain support for the struggle to regain Laos. It is not an easy one. To make it easier, the General suggests that you stand behind what you believe. You need to have faith in what you know. Don't be influenced by others' lack of knowledge or lack of faith. If you have ever heard the story of David and Goliath, you should be able to relate to it. You are only a small person and are fighting a large giant, communism. In the case of David and Goliath, the village people laughed and mocked David for trying to kill Goliath, who was a giant. Even though the people mocked David, it didn't seem to keep him from trying and trying and trying. He tried, and he didn't ever give up. Then one day he took a slingshot and a huge rock and slung it around and whacked Goliath in the head, and the giant was dead. The village people laughed no more. All of a sudden they wanted to be David's friend and considered him a hero. And he was just that, a hero. And this is just a reminder to you that you shouldn't give up. It may be a hard battle and times may be hard, and people may think that you're just wasting your time, but you're not. They may laugh at you, and in the long run, you'll be the one laughing. General Kongle loves you all. He's never given up the dream of returning to his homeland and bringing all of his people with him. He needs you to be strong, and he needs you to be faithful. There's strength in numbers, and that's what this is all about. Gaining strength and gaining ground. Together we're uniting you with your mother country, Laos. Laos is yours, the country belongs to you. Every mountain in Laos should be yours to climb, and every rock in Laos should be yours to throw to help you kill the giant of communism. But it's up to you. The general needed his troops when he took over the Laotian capital in August of 1960. And he needs his supporters, troops, and believers to take Laos back in the year 2000. You need to inform and recruit as many people as you can. You need them to join the force to tell them that the fighting still continues and that Conley's forces are getting stronger. You need to tell the Americans, the Lao people, and the whole world that Conley needs the support. Strength is in numbers, and the sooner the numbers increase and Conley believes the time is right to regain the control, the sooner Laos will be yours. Keep fighting, keep believing, and most important, keep recruiting followers so the struggle for freedom will be a struggle no more. Thank you. Now, Shantam taught me these words in Laos, so let's see how well I do. Kop joy, kop joy, kop joy, and pot cow kun kong.
ขอเชิญลูกหลานมาให้เกียรติสแตนซ่องนานเลยขอใจ thank you very much ขอเชิญนางสาวซ่องเอาพวงมาลัยมาพร้อมเนอะยังไหม